Very good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all on frequency today. This is Zulu Sierra 6 Yankee India, transmitting from near Johannesburg in South Africa. We wish to welcome everyone on frequency today. We have a number of listeners and also viewers on YouTube. I just want to talk to Mr. Leslie. Leslie's with me in the shack, and he's busy on his side of the ham station. So Leslie will be saying hello to you. I just want to shift cameras over to Leslie. One moment. Okay, do the wave. There we go. Okay, boy, you can continue, but turn your volume down, please. Turn your volume down, okay? Leslie, turn your volume down. Right, okay. Well, firstly, we want to start off by thanking the Qatar Satellite Company for allowing us the opportunity to be on their satellite. We also wish to thank AMSAT DL for organizing all this so that we could have an amateur satellite on the Qatar satellite. We also wish to thank the British Amateur Television Club, the BATC, and of course AMSAT UK for all the assistance, advice, and wonderful blogs they have on their website. So you saw the web pages earlier, the addresses. If you're interested in amateur television and digital amateur television via QO-100, that's the Oscar 100 satellite, which is a geostationary satellite, then you could click onto those links, and it will be nice to have you as a member. Today on frequency on the one net that we have, let me just get that quickly. We have the following. Henry would have come up. He's in Portugal, but unfortunately he's got visitors. So he asked if he would just be skipped. So after me, Benno, if you will come in from Holland, Papa Alpha 3 Fox Bravo X-ray. And then after Benno, if you can send it to Leon down in Worcester in the Cape, that is 1 Mike. And then the Cape sends it all the way to Brazil. That's to Ed, Papa Yankee 2 Radio November. I hope the voting is going smoothly, Ed. I believe it's voting in your country today. And then Ed will send it all the way back to Pretoria to ZS6 Golf Echo. Hello, Frank. Saw you testing earlier. And then Frank will send it to Vanderbijl Park, which is ZR6 Tango Golf. Hello, Tom. And he's going to talk about wideband chat. And then Tom will pass it all the way back to the UK to Mike, Golf Zero Mike Juliet Whiskey. And yes, I think the clocks have gone back an hour there, Mike. So it's a bit earlier for you. And then Nick will pick it up, Golf 4 India Mike Oscar. I just want to see if there's anyone on the other net. Bert is only listening. He's got Pluto problems today. Sorry about that, Bert. And Tango Alpha 2 Whiskey Radio, Tunk, he's saying hi. And then Joachim, DB8 X-Ray Oscars on, and Gunther in Germany, Delta 8 Golf Whiskey. And then on our normal YouTube frequencies, we have, let me see, India 2 November Delta Tango. Hello, Claudio. Nice to see you on again from Italy. So it's quite wide. And I know ZS1 Ian Houston, IH, will be on as well. So with that, I'm going to then pass it all the way through to Benno in Holland. Papa Alpha 3 Fox Bravo X-ray. Would you kindly take it, please, from Zulu Sierra 6 Yankee India. With old man Benno. So let's pass it to old man ZS1 Mike. If you take it in the meantime, and we'll always give Benno an opportunity down the line. ZS1 Mexico from Zulu Sierra 6 Yankee India.
Okay, thanks, Gary. ZS6YI and the group from ZS1 Mike saying a very good afternoon. It's mostly afternoon today. We don't have any stations from India on today, so there's no good morning. And yeah, okay. And welcome to all the listeners and viewers with us. Not much going on here. As I've spoken to Gary a little earlier on, I've just made a PC board for an isolated 12 volt in, 12 volt out supply for a very specific use in an aircraft. And I must just quickly drill the holes after we've had our session here. Yes, I don't know what's on with Benno. I hope he comes right there. Okay, signals are good. I have a neighbor somewhere around here who's making a big noise with a hi-fi on a Sunday. Can you believe it? It's been going on since very early this morning with big boom, boom, brr, brr, bass stuff. I can see it on the OBS there. So I don't know if you have nice speakers on your side, you can probably hear it. I wonder who this new guy is with his very noisy system. I can only imagine. Gary, you'll know what I mean. Okay, so I'm going to give it to Ed, Papa Yankee 2 Romeo November. For the group, Ed, I've had, oh yeah, here it is. You haven't been on for a long time. I wanted to show you this. The gliders are active. I wanted to show you this. This is the hotel where I stayed in Brazil. Maybe you can read the foreign language there. Hotel Floresta. Yeah, that's where we stayed. Okay, over to Ed. PY2 Romeo November for the group from ZS1 Mike.
Hello guys, hope everybody can hear me. I didn't do pre-testing this morning. Hello Gary, Leslie, Frank, and Leon, Tom, Mike, and Nick. Glad to be here. Sorry about the costume. This has nothing related to Halloween, but for elections day. Yeah, Gary, that's right. This is voting day here. So that's the reason for the special costume. And Dracula is getting old. It's using glasses, you know. Yeah. All right, guys. Okay, Leon, nice to see that they had the air conditioning there, that hotel, because that place is like hell. It's so humid and hot. Very nice. Maybe if you're gonna be there sometime again, let me know. I may know some ham radio there. There is a guy very interested on QO-100 with Papa Victor 8 Delta X-ray. He could even go easily to Guyana to operate from there, but via road. but he mentioned that it's a very complicated region, lots of violence, but he will not run the risk. Excellent, guys. Just nothing else to show you today except for this. I'm working on another amplifier here. Let me show you. Yeah, that's another deck. That's for HF up to 50 megahertz. Yeah, I didn't turn it on yet. I'm gonna start my initial testing this afternoon, and yeah, this deck is okay. I mean, not so difficult to assemble, but this is like just the chassis and the engine for if you do an analogy with a car. So it may work, but it's still missing, wheels, brakes, and steering wheel. So it's missing lots of things. I mean, it's far to be ready. But it's like I said. I mean, if you do a comparison with the car, it's just the engine and the chassis. That's all. Not even the complete chassis. It's missing lots of things. But let's see if it's going. This not gonna be here. It's gonna be in another location. All right. Move back to my camera here. Next time, I promise I'm gonna be faster with this camera switching. All right then. So next is Frank, Zulu Sierra 6 Golf Echo. A long time don't see, Frank. Hope everything is okay with you. And let's see and hear you. Zulu Sierra 6 Golf Echo. Please go ahead from Papa Yankee 2 Romeo November.
Yeah. Okay. Good afternoon, everybody. Yeah, Sundays is sometimes difficult. Visitors come, or we have to go somewhere. Anyway, life is as usual and boring, which is a good thing. I'm not complaining. We even had a bit of rain, start of the raining season. And it does a lot of good for my garden. Otherwise, I just want to mention that a long time ago I was showing my light dimmer that dims the 24-volt light strips down in about 5 minutes. That was an analog circuit, and it was starting to irritate me because first of all, it starts in complete darkness and takes 5 minutes before the room is bright, so that was not ideal. And otherwise also behaved a bit funny, so I decided to go digital. But not knowing anything about microprocessors and related subjects, I built it what I had in the bin, and that was mainly CMOS ICs, the old 4000 series. Yeah, I got it to work. Let me just go here and go there. Okay, it's a bit of a rat's nest, very broad, but very broadly speaking, here at the bottom is a 555 timer, which acts as a clock, and then it goes to 3 up-down counters, which give me 12 bits, and that goes to a digital to analog converter, and from there to the analog to pulse width modulation modulator and power feds and so on. And the nice thing is I had everything in the bin except for that one IC. Okay, so now that worked, but it had a funny behavior every now and then for no unknown reason. It started dimming and recovered again and went bright again. It took me a while to figure out that it was mostly a switching of equipment in the house, especially the heavy equipment. So it got the false trigger. So eventually I took it all out again and started to find out what was going on. And eventually I found it on these up-down counters. There is an input that is either high or low that makes the thing count up or down. Now I had a pull-up resistor there, 22 kilo, and I thought that was enough. But in classical fashion, that was not enough. It picked up via some unknown path. I'm not quite sure. I can only guess that because of all these connections here, and of course underneath the long ones, that it was enough to pick up the disturbance from the power supply here somehow. And yeah, it's a classic 100 nanofarad on that pin, and that was it. Yeah, so nothing new, but one tends to forget these things. Okay, now let me go back. Yeah, and that okay. Now I can see myself again. Yeah, so that was really the most exciting thing that happened here, and I was quite chuffed actually to find it eventually. Okay, Tom, Zeta 6 Tango Golf, Zeta 6 Golf Echo.
Thanks, Frank. ZS6 Golf Echo. Let's see if my sound works. Yeah, that sounds good. Okay, good afternoon, everybody. Hope everybody's been doing well, and good to see everybody on the net today. Gary, always good to see you, and a lovely QSL review this morning. Henry, yeah, if you have visitors, you've got visitors, eh? Benno, I'm sure you'll be on the next round. Leon, good to see you. Leon, you know what they say, you know, if it's too loud, you're getting too old, eh? And Ed, yeah. You keep on mentioning a costume. I didn't notice any costume. Everything just looked like always, you know. But good to see you there as well. And Frank, good to see you as well. And a nice circuit, a real old school that you've got put together there. Looks very nice, and glad you sorted out the problem. From my side, not crazy much either. Been busy with work and such this week, but I did manage to play a bit after the BATC, the Cat 22. One of the things that came up during the informal chats was the wideband chat that we use on the website itself. And so I started digging a bit into that. The long-term goal is to be able to get that chat via the satellite instead of via the internet. But in the meanwhile, I've got the following going. Let's just switch the display there. So I started with, you guys all know, that helps quick tune. Nothing new there. But I've now got the wideband chat integrated into there. So if you click there, I'll open up the other window. If you click there on the chat button, it actually shows the chat in real time from the website of. So I can just set my neck here. Let's set the neck, and then wideband chat demo test. So I can just send that through and off it goes, and you'll notice that it should show on the wideband chat as well. There we go. So nothing big, but I think one of the issues is that a lot of people are using QuickTune, but they're not actually on the chat. So especially if there's a problem or anything like that, then they don't see anything. So yeah, it simplifies things a bit, so you don't actually need to go to that Spectrum Monitor website anymore. If you have QuickTune in the chat, then you're pretty much sorted. And then I've also started integrating it into the new Winterhill client. Let me show it here. The new Winterhill client going as well. So there we've got a chat as well. So yeah, like I say, it's fairly basic, but it works quite well, and it takes the need to open up another window. Well, I guess it is another window, but it's not another web window that you need to open up. I'll be releasing the Winterhill and the Longman clients within probably tomorrow's Monday. Yeah, probably tomorrow. But the QuickTune one, Rob has already merged my changes back into the original one and done a release. So if you go to the QuickTune website or GitHub repo, you should be able, the latest release will already have the wideband chat in there. So obviously this can be expanded quite a bit. I'm thinking you can, especially on the Longman side, we're always giving signal reports. On the Longman, it'd be pretty interesting if you can just double click on the signal there, and then it will automatically throw it to the chat side. Maybe some emojis, easier to copy and paste stuff, throw in links, make it clickable here, stuff like that. So there's lots of room for small little improvements that can be done to make it work better. But yeah, that's pretty much what I've been busy with. Apart from that, playing a bit with the high-speed modem stuff as well, just testing it out. And then also I had some fun with the WinLink server that's running on a narrowband, IS0GRB. I think it's Roberto from Italy. It's got a WinLink server running there, which you use the VARA modem for, and it works quite well. I still need to figure out some of the WinLink stuff, but I could connect to the server and basically have a session with the WinLink server, so I was quite chuffed about that. Okay, that's pretty much all from me. Just gonna keep it sweet and short. I'm gonna hand it over to Mike, G0MJW here from Zulu Romeo 6 Tango Golf.
Good. Right. Sorry for the slow switch over. I was just checking it was receiving, and it was a bit slow to lock up my case. So hopefully it's working, and I've got some sound. So good afternoon, everybody. Hour earlier here in the UK. Just busy actually preparing lunch, so I haven't really prepared anything here. Firstly, Leon, you're complaining about the bass. I'm normally complaining that I can't hear the bass, so that's interesting. They must be having a party or something. We do occasionally have festivals not too far from here, and I only hear the bass. I don't hear anything else, which is a bit annoying. You have to ask them to turn it up because you can't really hear it properly. And Ed, yeah, interesting makeup. It doesn't really look just like you, but understand the issues with the election going forwards. Hopefully everything will be okay, and nothing nasty will happen, but we'll have to wait and see about that. And yeah, I know what you mean about amplifiers. I'm going to come on to that in a second, because getting the palette is only the first stage. As you say, it's like having a car with an engine but none of the wheels. And Frank, I wasn't quite catching what you were talking about on the CMOS and only having that in the junk bin, but I tend to use Arduinos and things like that because I've got a stock of them, and they seem to be the way to control things if you
can write microcontroller code, not that I can. Tom, wideband chat's very interesting. When I tried to install it after you released it, it wouldn't run on my laptop. It just crashed. The connecting to the tuning worked, but the chat didn't, and it caused an error. But then you had a new version a few minutes later, or an hour later or so, and that downloaded a huge number of extra files into the zip file, and then it worked. So I don't know if it was just I was missing some files there, but that worked. But I'm waiting for the next version. One comment I would make is the font needs to be made bigger for those of us with high DPI monitors, because I was struggling to see it. But otherwise, working nicely. So well done on that. It's much prettier than Rob's original, but it's also got some new functionality, so that's great. Right, coming on to what I've been doing. I've been basically playing with this, and you might just about be able to see that. Now that's my amplifier control board, and this is a mock-up 3D printed front panel, which I designed in FreeCAD, and I'm now getting towards the stage of wanting to not so much print but mill it out on the CNC mill. It's got a different spacing from the last one, so it's a new file, and I just thought I'd do a 3D print to see if everything fits, which it does. But my 3D printer, when it's supposed to print a 5mm hole, it prints it slightly smaller, so the LEDs won't fit in it. So I'm just printing another version of these with slightly bigger LEDs to see if they fit better, and that'll probably be an issue for the machining as well, because it's very difficult to mill a square, and I'd rather use a 2mm bit than a 1mm bit because it's so much stronger. Now, let me go onto the bench camera. So, yeah, Ed, you're much further ahead than I am. These are two kits from the sort of strangely named, perhaps, or ironically named QRP blog. 600 watts dual MRF 300 amplifiers, which looked rather similar to what you were building. But I don't know if yours was an MRF 300 or one of the bigger Germany devices. Anyway, I haven't even started yet. The boards come with all the SMD components on, and all the wound components not on, which is the opposite of what I would prefer. But there you go. So there's a filter board there, and an amplifier board to be made up, and there's also a relay board, and all of those will go into an amplifier and maybe be controlled by my controller, or perhaps the guy who's designed this amplifier is going to come up with a controller as well. So TBD, but anyway, that's what I'm doing there. Not much else to show. I can zoom in on these things if you want to get a bit of a closer look. Assuming it's going to focus. Yeah, it's going to focus. Give you an idea. That's the amplifier, with just very similar sort of things to be made up for the balun and the transformers. And this is the filter, where you have to make up the cores with the cables and put the relays on. But yeah, it hasn't got any control circuitry with it. That's the stuff you need to do, but it does have monitoring. So you've got a temperature and a current monitor and all those things that come in useful for building amplifiers. So there we go. Right, I think I've got to pass it over to Nick, G4IMO. So round to you, Nick. G4IMO, G0MJW.
Yep, okay, Mike. I've got my sound. Turn that down there. Yeah, I forgot to put my test card on there. You caught me on the hop, as they say. Yeah, all very interesting, Mike. Excellent. All this construction work going on. I haven't been doing much at all on the, excuse me, on the amateur TV side. Anyway, good afternoon to Leslie there in the shack. Nice to see you there. I did make some notes. Here we go. Ed, your your Dracula. That's very good. That's very, very good indeed. Excellent. Oh dear. Yeah, what was I going to say? Yeah, Leon, you mentioned about your neighbours with the music. Yeah, here we don't have trouble with music. We have trouble with floodlights. The neighbours round here insist on putting up floodlights on their walls of their properties. And there's one particular neighbour here, and the lights from their security lights shine through people's windows. And in fact, last night they have these PIR sensors on them. Last night it was quite windy, so these lights are flicking on and off all night, shining in people's windows. So very antisocial people round here. But we don't have problems with any loud music, fortunately. Anyway, what have I been up to? Oh, first things first, 24th of October, WhatsApp no longer works. So I've removed that app from my phone now. So it's no longer supported on my iPhone 5. So there's no point in sending me any messages because I can't see them. It's not very warm here today. It's about 13 degrees here, very cloudy. So it's a typical autumn afternoon. What else have I been doing? Oh, I've been experimenting on 10 meters because propagation on there has been excellent. These last couple of weeks been very, very good propagation to the USA. There's a repeater in New York, KQ2H on 29.62 FM, and it's very, very strong here. I've put up I've made a little wire halfway vertical, and it's almost one wavelength up, so it's got a very low angle of radiation, and on that it's S9. You know, it's for 5 and 9 rather, 5 and 9. The repeater from New York, and in fact there was a UK station on the Isle of Wight, who I worked through the repeater in New York. So, but there's almost continuous activity on there. There's so many stations on there trying to use this repeater. There's also a Canadian station as well, VE3 MMX in Ontario. That's on 29.64. That's also coming through 5 and 9 all the time, and that's got a lot of activity on it as well. I managed to work a few stations through that. And there's also a station in Moscow in Russia, RR3AAC on 29.67, which is also very strong, but there's no activity at all on that, as you might expect. So there you go. I did put a few calls out on a single sideband on 28 megs, but I don't seem to get any replies. I think when there's good conditions, I think all the American stations are more interested in working as far as they can into Europe. They're not interested in working UK stations anymore. But I say conditions have been excellent on 10 meters. That's about it, I think. As I say, I haven't been doing anything on the TV. Oh, the other thing I've done, yes, Tom, I have in fact just downloaded the new QuickTune software, version 1.29, and the chat facility seems to work on there okay. I was going to ask you, is it possible with your software skills, when you look at the wideband chat, it shows the individual transponders on there, which have got their frequency and their symbol rate. Is it possible to have the call sign on there of the person who's actually transmitting? That would be a very useful feature if that is possible, but I presume it's not possible. Otherwise, it would already be on there. But that would be very useful, because all you have to do is to just switch on or to just look at the quick band, the quick tune app, and you could instantly see who was on there. So that would be very, very useful. Right, I think that's about it. I don't think there's anybody else after me, is there? I'll just have a quick look. No, I'm the last one on the list. So round to you, Gary, and I'll put my test card on this time, which is what I should have done in the first place. Round to you, G4IMO.
Okay, very good. Somebody else on as well. Hold on. Let's see. Bert, are you perhaps in? Because I saw somebody came on top of me. This is ZA6YI standing by.
Stupid me! I have summertime in my head. Hi guys. Let's turn off a little bit my audio, because everything is okay. Let's see if I have a camera. I was just playing and just sitting in my shack, didn't pay watching the clock, but not watching the clock the right way, because due to winter time, obviously we have obviously it's now 2 o'clock instead of 3 o'clock. So okay, well, I missed everything. Hello guys from PA3 Fox Bravo X-Ray. Missed, like I said, everyone, and just heard tune to Nick, and heard that he was running the DATV round, so the net. So well, anyway, I'm here. Missed, like I said, everything. Working with version 2.09. Which is, I think, not downloadable at the moment. Main improvement is the roll-off of 0115, of 015, and I use now also the HE extension for the AAC codec, which some guys tell me it's better. I am not sure what, if and how, but at least my roll-off is much better. To get that, you also need 0303 in the F5OEO firmware, which gave me some headache last Thursday, but it runs, and it runs smooth. But I'm now up to 90% of my power, which means I have only a little bit room, and if I want to do a 1 meg sample rate, I will get lots of problems in my power. Okay, well, that's all for now. Microphone back to Gary. Sorry for bursting over your signal from PA3 Fox Bravo X-Ray.
Not a problem at all. PA3 Fox Bravo X-Ray ZA6YI. Let me just cut the audio here. Okay, hello there, Benno. No problem to copy you. And a very nice signal today, very, very nice. So that new system seems to be working out quite well. I must compliment you. Nice and stable. Your audio is lovely, better than normal. So well done. Right, Henry's watching. I just want to see the guys that are watching is Albert, Ocean November 4 Alpha Hotel. Hello, Albert. And Claudio, I did mention, India 2 November Delta Tango. There's Johan, ZA6 Alpha Foxtrot. And then there's Brenda, ZA6 Yankee Lima Bravo. And of course, Henry's also in and out watching there. I just want to see if there's anyone else. Yeah, nobody else. And then, Ed, I can't see any difference. In fact, I thought you might have had a nice haircut. You look better than normal. Anyway, so we certainly hope the elections go smoothly and that things all work out for you guys. It's, worldwide, some of these elections have been rather hectic of late, and it's not too long and we'll be facing the similar type of thing. Right, Mike, very interesting on your want to build kit. It's a lot of work. I'm not sure why your printer prints that thing a little bit smaller, but what I would have done instead of reprinting, just taken a drill and drilled out those holes to the right size. That's only 0.5 mil or so, so that would have been okay, I'm sure. I'm just wondering about your pictures. Are the pictures in the correct order? But you're quite right about a 2mm versus a 1mm cutter. You should even go bigger and then just use the 1mm or 2 around the edges. And just use a file to file the square areas. That's what we do to try and get speed when we start milling. And then often we use our spark eroder to get the very, very fine square finishes. So we cut it roughly and we make it an electrode and then we just spark it. And that comes out very, very well indeed. Leon, now I don't know about your boom, boom, boom down the road. You should develop a nice high power transmitter that could perhaps work around the audio frequency bands, or put RF in their speaker lines and distort the whole lot, and then that might stop that issue. Frank, noted on the timer that was timing when it, or the dimmer, starting to dim when it wanted to dim. Yeah, those are problems, especially with the CMOS stuff. They can get false triggers, so one has to make sure you have everything buttoned down and you don't want stray RF, and now and then a little RF bypass cap or a spike bypass cap will do wonders to the world there, so you don't get that. I built a machine once. It was a clamp that was clamping a mold, and then we injected it with polyurethane with a reaction injection molding unit, and this darn thing sometimes used to false trigger, and while the guy's busy spraying release agent on the mold, the clamp would close, and it hit one guy on the head, knocked some sense into him, I may add, but it was not a pleasant experience. Luckily he wasn't hurt. I just made sure that my mold wasn't cracked, but I had to then make a foolproof way, because that's dangerous. So it was also a false trigger on one of those old CMOS chips. Anyway, that was all sorted out. And Nick, yes, Tom, I don't want to answer on behalf of Tom, but I know he did have the call signs in not so long ago. So it is possible he did do it. I think he did it via the receiver. But, no, Tom's a magician when it comes to these software things. He does all sorts of funny things. And the one program that I use every week, and I really enjoy it, is the one that he did to control the ride. And by the way, Tom, old Leon asked for if you couldn't do something for him. On the ride, you have to go into putty and all sorts of complicated things to change things. Now, what Leon's done is he's using the same IF I am. So I've changed mine on the ride's software in putty and made it the right IF. But Leon's can't do that at this moment. So he wants to know, can't you make a shortcut version that he can just, like an INI file that we have on Minituner, that he can just go in and change things and then press a button and the ride's updated. Instead of having to go through to PuTTY and all that, maybe your program can do it into PuTTY or whatever that needs to be done, but make it user-friendly, that on a Windows-based thing you just go and click in whatever you want, whatever needed changing, like volume, setup volume and all that type of thing, and that will make his life much easier. So, yeah, so the projects arrive, and Tom's been very busy this week with other things, salt mine stuff. This salt mine that interferes with ham radio is terrible. Anyway, so let me see. I'm going to pass it back to you then, Leon. Benno's had his turn, and then Benno can take it after Nick. ZS1 Mike to take the microphone from ZS6 Yankee India.
Okay, thanks Gary, ZS6YI and the whole group, with all the listeners and watchers from ZS1 Mike returning. Let me just click there on OBS so that the Pluto is not on top of it. Right, okay, comments. Yeah, I wonder what Leslie is listening to that he has to turn the volume down so much there on his side of the shack. Okay, Henry's not there. Benno is there finally. Welcome, Benno. Nice to see you. And Ed, yeah, Ed, I see there's a lot of smoke in your shack. So I don't know whether that was electronically generated or from cigarettes or whatever. And yeah, I will note it on your amplifier board. Yes, you know, there in Guyana, they have a very nice club station. They took me there when I was there with the French guys, and they've got a lovely club station, a Knes club station there in Guyana. They're in the middle of the jungle. So anyway, right, Frank, yes, the moment you said things happening, I looked at your board and I saw very, very few decoupling caps, you know, on digital chips. You have to have one on each and every chip. Also on the 555, I don't see a cap from pin 1 to 0.8, 100 nano. So yeah, that's always the first things that I put down when it's with sharp switching things. But I'm glad you got it sorted, and that it's doing its thing now. Okay, then Tom. Yes, that's interesting to get the chat onto the satellite business. Yeah, that sounds interesting. But yes, you're too busy, and now I said to Gary, I don't want to really bother you with more requests because you are so busy already. But yeah, I'd love to have the ride a little bit more user friendly. It's a nice receiver, but I would like to have it like the Minituner, an INI file that you can set up and then just load it back onto the ride. Okay, Mike, yeah, you guys are working serious power with solid state stuff there, 600 watts. But yeah, I see also a nice big filter board to get rid of all the square wavish and harmonic-y stuff which you don't get in valves. When you have bicouplers, it's all nice and smooth, pure sine waves coming out. So I'll stick to my, for HF, I'll stick to my dual 4CX250s. They're quite fine. And Nick, yeah, floodlights. No, we don't really have. Well, the neighbor across the road, he's got too many dogs. I think he's got about 6 dogs, and when they start moving at night, they set off the floodlights. But that doesn't bother me. My direct next door neighbor, he plays music, but he plays nice music, and then I shout over the fence there, turn up the volume, and then sometimes he does it. But this is some distant neighbor that's got this boom, boom, boom going which is very irritating. Yeah, if you would turn it up loud and put the tweeters on top of the roof so you can hear the music, then I agree. Maybe it's nice music, but to just hear the low frequencies is very, very irritating. It's got good response, I must say. His subwoofer is very good. You can almost count the cycles, but I'd like to hear the rest, not just the lows. Very irritating. Okay, and Nick, otherwise, yes, I forgot about that 10-meter repeater there in the States. I used to listen to that with my 440. I must switch it on. Well, I've got no HF antennas up at the moment because of all the building that was going on here. You know, I had to remove everything for them to move their scaffolding around and so on. But it'll come back. But to get something up for 10 meters is not a major issue. It's small. Okay, I think you said 29.62 is the New York one. I must go and have a listen there. I used to hear it years ago. Yeah, at least on 10 meters there's no interference from LED street lights and all that sort of rubbish. Okay, that's about it from me. What's the time? Yeah, it's not even 4 yet, but I'm keen to finish off that PC board and quickly assemble it, so I can call the guy and tell him to come and get it and go and fit it into his auto gyro and enjoy his clean audio. It's a very funny thing. He's got this fancy module. You plug it into your mic and tel sockets in the aircraft, and then you plug your headset into that. Then you also have Bluetooth facilities and all sorts of fancy stuff, but it's designed to work on its own internal little batteries. And firstly, he said to me the thing is too soft, so I built a small little amplifier and fitted it inside, but that required external 12 volts. But it's a very funny system. It's floating, and with the 12 volts coming from the main battery on the aircraft, you're getting earth loops and all sorts of funny buzzes and things. So I gave him a small battery just to go and test, and you know, so that the supply is floating, and then it was perfect. So I said, okay, I'll make you an isolated supply. So I made a small switch mode supply, 12 volt in, 12 volt out, but magnetically coupled, so there's no galvanic connection. So that's what I quickly want to finish off and let him have it and enjoy his Bluetooth and all his other audio stuff that he wants to hear while flying. I don't want to hear anything when I'm flying. I listen for all the bits that start to rattle and so on, you know. When must I make the emergency landing? Okay, Gary, back to you. ZS6. No, sorry. I must give it to Ed, where there's smoke. Papa Yellow 2, Romeo November, for the group from ZS1, Mike. Now, where's my switch off there?
Roger that, Leon. As soon as I switch my OBS, you guys gonna see me. Zulu Sierra 6, Mike, Papa Yankee 2, Radio November. It's not 6, it's 1, sorry. Zulu Sierra 1, Mike, Papa Yankee 2, Radio November. Yeah, the smoke gone away. No more smoke, Leon. And the costume as well. Very encouraging words from Gary and Tom. That I look better with the costume. All right. Very nice, very nice. I just say to Nick that 10 meters is going well here too. The propagation is great. I can hear the FM repeaters around 29.6 and lots of activity on 10 meters. Actually 6 meters is also opening. We are getting from here, Hawaii. The other day, some Japanese stations, all from 50 megahertz. So it seems propagation is improving, and HF activity gonna be picking up. And actually, we are getting CKWW contest this weekend. All right, for Mike, Golf Zero Mike Juliet Whiskey. Yeah, I got one of those KRP Labs kit as well, but that one is for really QRP. That's for my Radio Berry. It will give me about, I don't know, 10 to 15 watts. And I have all the filter kits to assemble as well, and I made already the 6 meters filter. That's nice. One thing I did here, Mike, was to assemble the filter, you know, the filter box in a different box. Yeah, exactly. So this way I can use with several different amplifier. Let me switch the image here. So I just put the filter. It's a 1.5 kilowatt. I think it's from the Russian EB104 kit. So I built that in a separate box, so I can use this in all the amplifiers that I test here. So I don't need to assemble a filter board for every amplifier. So that's what I'm doing here. Things get a little bit more easy and economic. Yep. Leon, sorry about the noise there. Sometimes I have some places nearby here that they used to celebrate something, like birthday parties and stuff like that, and yeah, I can hear the music too. Benno, very nice to see your images. Like Gary said, very nice. And Tom, thanks for all your development, and thank you for the guide regarding SDR Angel. I know that many people are trying to receive DATV signals with SDR Angel based on the guide that you just made available. Although I think for me here, I tried before, but I believe I must have very strong DATV signals, which is not my case. So, but I'll try again and maybe start locally, transmitting DATV signal locally, and see if I can decode everything set up. Then I'll try via the satellite. All right, guys. Thank you very much for this DATV Net. Thank you, Gary, for coordinate that, and very nice to see you all. All the best. So now to Frank, Zulu Sierra 6 Golf Echo from Papa Yankee 2 Romeo November.
Okay. Right. Yeah. Okay. Interesting. Nice to see you all again. And for the comments, Tom, yeah, whenever that is more or less usable for simple-minded people like me, I would be interested. So I'll give it some time. And Leon, yeah, you're absolutely right. I have actually fitted capacitors underneath each IC, not on top, because to keep the connections short. You know, with these ICs, you have pin 8 and pin 16 on opposite end of the ICs, which is always awkward to bypass. I did all that. But for one reason or another, I did it on the up-down port. So yeah, you have to relearn the hard way. It definitely slipped up. Anyway, I also have been called for tea and coffee, so I don't want to miss that. I wish you all a nice day, what's left of it, and of the weekend, and with some luck then next weekend again. Tom, you can take it.
There we go. Thanks, Frank. ZS6 Golf Echo here from Zulu Romeo 6 Tango Golf. Before you run off there, that quick tune is already available. So if you check on the chat there is a place where you can download it. Seems to be working just fine. So yeah, I'd be keen to hear if it works for you. But enjoy your coffee and biscuits there. Okay, great net today. Don't have much comments. Benno, great to see you there. And like the other said, your signal and all is great. No problems there. Leon, your last over, I actually couldn't decode properly. It started off well, but I don't know if my dish has moved with the windstorms we've been having. Everybody's signal seems slightly lower than what it is usually, and yours, I think you were running 5.6, so yours were in and out. So sorry, I completely missed whatever you said there. You were running a bit lower than usual. What else is there? Nick, yeah, it's like Mike said, you can only show the call signs if you actually decode them with a receiver, or you need to tune into it to get the call signs. I'm doing that on the Longman client. So on the Longman client's got the same spectrum monitor, but it shows the call signs as you are decoding the signals. So that's that effect. Yeah, maybe on the BATC side they can add a little mini tuner with a custom Longman that just runs through the signals and gets the call signs and put it on there. That'd be pretty interesting. And then the data is available, then we can pull it into quick tuner as well. Ed, something I wanted to say there. Yeah, the regards the SDR Angel, yeah, it works. It's not brilliant though, especially once you've started playing with the mini tuner. Then it seems a bit unnecessary, and yeah, I can imagine you need a bit of a stronger signal there. They have been improving the SDR Angel. In the beginning I couldn't get it to work at all. Now I'm getting semi-decent results out of it, so I think over time it'll just get better. But yeah, it's a good way to look into DATV if you're curious, but if you're doing it like we're doing, then mini tuner is still definitely the way to go. And then Mike, yeah, it does have quite a few files that it needs. It's for the whole socket IO protocol that it uses for the chat. So maybe there was a version that was missing some files. And then I hear what you're saying about the font. I've made a note. I'll add that in there, or I'll modify it a bit there so that it can maybe be a bit smarter about the font size that it uses, or at the very least give a way to increase it properly as well. I think that's about it for me. Interesting net as always, and hope you guys have a wonderful week ahead, and I'll see everybody again on next week's net. I'm gonna hand it over to Mike G0MJW here from Zulu Romeo 6 Tango Golf 73, everybody.
Okay. I don't know if you can hear the sound from this. But that is the New York repeater on 10 meters. So it's a good signal, with me at least. Sorry about the lighting. Didn't really intend to do this. It was a last minute setup, as you will see in a second from my picture. Happened there? My audio went off again. Sorry about that. It was on, but it came off again. Probably when I changed from one side to another. Right, sorry, let's start again. This is the latest thing that came off the 3D printer about 10 minutes ago. And it does fit, so that's good. So the next move is to move it into metalwork and do it. But I was saying that actually the quality of 3D printing is such that you can make a panel. The problem is this just fits on my 3D printer at 45 degrees, so I have a limited build area, so that would be a problem, but good enough for a fit check, and actually the finish is not at all bad. Right, what else? Was there anything else? No, I don't think so. All very good. I see the repeater has gone off again. So there we go. Yeah. So the reason that the audio went away was there's two sound sources, and when I transitioned from one to the other, it went away. Oh, repeater's back. Weird, because it has a doorbell on it. Very, very strange. Okay, with that, 7-3 everyone. Round to Nick, I guess. G for IMO, over to you. G0MJW.
Yep. Okay, Mike. Yep. Okay, Mike. Got my audio there. Yeah, all very interesting. Yeah, that repeater here in wonderful Wisbeach is also very strong at the moment. Yes, Lee, and you asked me. Yeah, 29.62 is the one in New York. And the one in Ontario in Canada is 29.64, which is also coming in very strong as well. But yeah, interesting. Interesting enough that the vertical here, the halfway vertical is S9. If I switch to my 132 foot horizontal, it's only about S4 to 5. So the vertical aerial is far superior. So it's very good. Okay, I'm going to make this one my final, I think. Oh, just before I go, yes. Okay, Tom. Yeah, all understood on the quick tune there, and okay, it's working on the Hongmin client that you wrote for the. I think you only use that on an Android phone, don't you? So. I think I need to invest in a new phone, but if I do, it will be an Android one anyway. I'll put it on my list for Father Christmas. I just realised I haven't put my camera on, so that might help. Right, okay. Anyway, I'm going to make this one my final. I'll say 73. Oh, and good afternoon to G6HFS, who's watching on his Winter Hill. Okay, I'll say 73. Hope to see you all next time. And I don't know who to pass it to. I think I'll put it back to Gary, I think. Yeah, ZS6YI. Cheerio to everybody. This is G4IMO. Cheerio.
Okay, I think Benno, it's your turn. You came in after Nick earlier, so why is that now wrong? That's interesting. What happened to my camera? Benno, will you take it from ZA6YI? I don't know what's gone wrong with my camera here.
Yeah. That's muted. Yeah. That's muted. So. Okay. Well, great guys. I have some strange. Oh, I know what is that problem. Let's switch that one off. Otherwise, I get all kind of strange interference on my camera. Great, guys. I think I should work a little bit on the HF. I'm not an HF guy, and I'm not an HF guy, and I always neglect the HF. I'm capable in doing on the HF from here. But at the moment the aerial is not even connected. It not even has a power connector plug, which is 5 minutes. But well, again, neglected the HF. Okay. Well, great. Thanks for leading the net, Gary, and hope to meet you again next week. I will be in time. No, I won't be on time next week. I will be I have to work next week, so I won't be there next week. And in the meantime, have a good week all, and hope to meet you again. From Papa Alpha 3 Fox Bravo X-Ray, signing off and clear. Microphone to you, Gary. If your microphone.
Okay, Benno, very good. Just want to see that I'm on. No, something's wrong with my camera, but anyway, it's all right now. The most peculiar thing I've ever seen happen. And that was, for whatever reason, on OBS, my picture was frozen, and I called up Leslie's picture, and his picture was okay, so I had to quickly go out of OBS and come back in. But it's all good right now. Right, with that, I'm going to be closing the net. Just want to also thank Brian, Golf 6 Hotel Foxtrot Bravo, for watching, and also Frank DD0CW. So we wish everybody on frequency a very happy afternoon, a good week. And yeah, clocks have gone back in the UK and wherever, and I think in Australia as well. So luckily in South Africa we just remain standard. We've got enough to contend with and to still change clocks. That'll be disastrous. Okay guys, thank you for coming up on net today. We wish to welcome all the viewers, and we'll look forward to next week. This is ZA6YI, now closing the station and throwing the ball into the air. 7-3 all. Station and throwing.
Okay, Gary, ZA6YI in the group ZS1MM. Just before I forget, I shall not be on next Sunday, as I will be at Struisbaai, a friend of mine's birthday, and I've been invited for the birthday dinner right at the southern tip of Africa in a restaurant there called Zuidste Kaap. 12 o'clock local time next Sunday. So I shall be late. If I leave there on Sunday.